What's up, family? Man, I want to have a heart to heart with you guys today. Man, this is going to be sensitive for some of you, you know what I mean? And it's going to trigger some of you, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. You know, we have to grow up. We have to grow up. Today, we're talking about finding happiness. Finding happiness. And it's a truth because I hear so many people talking about, man, I'm so frustrated, man. I'm just in a state of like just blah. I'm not happy. I'm not, miserable. I just like, I don't feel anything, I'm in a state of shock, a state of numbness, and it's like, man, I feel that, man, I've been there. I've been there. God is my witness. I've been there for a long time. You know what I mean? I've been there a number of times. And it's a trip because, man, I would look around years ago. I would look around and like look at people and see people in relationships, you know what I mean? And just see people, with money and just all this other stuff. And it's like, God, why are they so happy? How come I can't be happy? Especially when I was a single parent, you know what I mean? Raising my two kids. And it's like, oh my God, I would see all these guys and women and they were in relationships and they're just walking and holding hands and just in love and just, just in bliss. And here it is, man, I'm a struggling single parent. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with me? How come I can't have happiness? How come I can't have that joy? How come I can't have whatever it is that they have? What the fuck makes them so special? You know what I mean? It's like, man, I don't get it. I don't freaking get it. Why is everybody happy but me? What's wrong with me, God? God, I'm trying to do everything right. God, I'm trying to raise my kids. I'm trying not to have a whole bunch of women in and out of my kids' life. I'm trying to be, a good father. I'm trying to be a good man. How come I can't have happiness? How come I can't have that joy? What is it about life that I'm missing? God, I'm praying, I'm fasting, I'm meditating, I'm doing all this stuff and I can't find happiness. I can't find my place of peace. Stay with me, we're going somewhere, I promise you. And so I'm looking around at all these people and I'm just sitting there and it's making me more frustrated. I'm looking at people that have less than I do and it's like, man, they're still happy. They're happy still. And I'm looking at my life and I'm trying to figure out, man, what is it? How come nobody wants me? I'm not a bad looking guy. Man, I've always had a job. I've always had my own place to stay. What's wrong with me? God, am I cursed? Am I damned to live a life of just being miserable? Of being lonely and frustrated? Am I damned and cursed to live a life of unhappiness? Am I damned to just walk around and see everybody else smiling and laughing and holding hands and walking on the beach and going out to eat as a couple and whoop-doo-doo? And every time I go somewhere, I got my two babies with me. Every time I go somewhere, man, it's just me and my kids. When I take them to the beach, it's just us. And I'm seeing all these people happy and in love and just living life and just laughing and all this other stuff. They're all hugged up with each other. And it got me to the point where I didn't even want to go anywhere anymore. We're talking about finding happiness. I didn't even want to go out anymore. Why? Because every time I went out, I was looking at people and they were happy. Every time I would take the kids to the movies, man, I would see couples sitting there sharing a popcorn and drinking soda and candy and they're laughing and giggling and hugged up and I felt some kind of way about this shit. It made me feel sad. It made me feel unwanted. It made me feel undesirable. What was so fucking wrong with me that I couldn't have that? And so what happened for me, I'm gonna just speak for me. So what I started doing, man, I stopped going out as much. I didn't want to go to the club. I didn't really want to go to the movies too much. I would go, but it was just something about it that just fucked me up. I really didn't want to go to the beach anymore. I really didn't want to go hang out in the park anymore. I didn't want to be around other people because I saw that I would get frustrated. I saw that, man, I'm happy that I got the money to go to take my kids and spend time with my kids, but then the loneliness would kick in. The frustration would kick in. The woe is me kicked in. The pity party kicked in. I'm talking about finding happiness. The pursuit of happiness. And there'd be times, Friday night, Saturday night, the kids would come, we'd climb on my bed, and we'd just watch TV, and we'd just buy all kind of junk. Whether it's McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, whatever, Taco Bell, whatever I could get at the time. And I would take them to get a bunch of little candy. And so we would sit there and we would eat and drink soda and eat candy and all. And we'd sit up on the bed and we'd go to Blockbusters and we'd get all these movies and stuff. And we'd sit there and watch TV all night long and pass out. Because I didn't want to be out somewhere. I didn't want to be out somewhere. Because I wasn't happy. I didn't know how to be happy. I was content with my kids. I was glad they were there. But I felt some kind of way. And the truth be told, I started looking at my kids. It's like, dang, is that why nobody wants me? Because I got this baggage. Is that why nobody wants me? Because I'm raising my 2 kids. Is that why no woman wants to hook up with me? Because of my kids. These are some of the thoughts that was going through my head. What's wrong with me? There's been so many times I would lay there in bed and I would cry myself to sleep, talking to God. God, what the fuck is going on in my life? God, man, I've been pleading and begging with you forever. How come I can't be happy? Okay. I'm brokenhearted that I don't have a love in my life. I'm frustrated that I don't have an adult companion. And the only companionship I have are with my little babies. And God, I'm longing for an adult so we can sit here and laugh and chop it up with. I'm longing for an adult that I can hold and somebody that's going to hold me back. Somebody I can be intimate with. And I'm not even talking about sex. I just wanted the fucking hug. I just needed somebody to touch me. Other than my kids. My kids would give me a hug. My kids would tell me I love you. And if the truth be told, that fucked me up. That fucked me up. I'm glad that my kids love me. I'm glad that my kids want to give me a hug. I'm glad that my kids want to hang out with me. But if I could be honest with you, it fucked me up. And it fucked me up because although my kids was hugging me, although my kids was kissing me on the cheek and telling me how much they loved me, and I was doing the same thing for them. It was a reminder that there wasn't a woman there. It was a reminder that I didn't have an adult companion. And I longed for that. I craved for that. And if the truth be told, I was starving for an adult companion. I was starving for it. And because I was starving for it, it made me feel some kind of way. It made me feel unwanted. It made me feel unhappy and all that other stuff. I would take my kids to amusement parks. And I was happy that they were happy. But I wasn't happy for me. See, my kids had each other. My daughter had her brother. And they were road dogs. They were best of friends. So they had each other. But I didn't have anybody. They had each other to laugh and play with. But I didn't have anybody. And I wanted somebody. I was desperate for somebody. And I was miserable because I didn't have somebody. I'm glad that my kids had each other. But it was a reminder to me that I didn't have anybody. Looking around at all the couples, because there was always couples there. At Disneyland or, Six Flags, wherever, there was always couples there with their kids. There was always couples there, whether they had kids or not. And it made me feel some kind of way. What was wrong with me? I'm talking about that pursuit of happiness, finding happiness. And one of the times I was laying out in the bed, crying. So you got to understand, I wasn't just depressed. I was depressed. You know what I mean? I was beyond depressed. I would get off work, fix the kids their food, draw their bath waters, got their clothes ready for the next day. The blinds, the curtains, I kept them closed. 7 o'clock, we're all in bed. 7 o'clock, I was going to bed. Not because I was tired. I was tired of feeling lonely. I was tired of being by myself. I was tired of not being happy. I was tired of wanting somebody to hold, to talk to spend time with. I was tired of needing somebody to touch me. I was tired of needing somebody to give me a hug. I was tired of wanting and needing somebody to kiss me. So my mentality was, man, if I go to sleep, if I go to bed, then I won't think about this. If I go to sleep, I won't think about how lonely I am. If I go to bed, I won't think about how miserable I am. If I go to bed, I can't feel my loneliness sleep. If I go to bed, I can't think about how unwanted I am. So I'll be in bed, 7 o'clock, crying myself to sleep, longing for companionship. And the trip is, I don't think I was a bad-looking young man, but that didn't matter. I was lonely. It didn't matter that I had a job, stable income. That didn't matter. It didn't matter that I had my own vehicle. That didn't matter. It didn't matter that I was trying to be responsible and raise my kids all by myself. This is back in the 90s. You didn't really see too many men raising their kids, especially black men. You know what I mean? You didn't see that shit. For the most part, you saw single women, but you didn't see single guys. And that fucked me up. It fucked me up. So I would lay there crying, God help me. I would cry out to my mama, Mama, help me. Mama, it's your baby boy. Mama, how come you're not listening to me? Mama, how come you're not answering me? Mama, how come nobody loves me? Mama, how come nobody want to be with me? Mama, why am I so fucking lonely? Mama, why am I so fucking depressed? Mama, are you even listening to me? God, are you even listening to me? Am I that fucked up that you won't even listen to me? Am I that fucked up, Mom, that you won't even answer my prayers? You won't even come visit me in a dream? You won't even hug me in my dreams? You won't even tell me that you love me in my dreams? Mama, what's wrong with me? How come you won't come visit me? Do you even care about me, Mom? I know my daddy don't. Mom, do you even care about your grandkids? Mom, how come you won't help me? I've never asked you for anything. I've never asked anybody for anything, Mom. Come talk to me. Mom, just come give me a hug. Mom, just tell me you're proud of me. Mom, am I that fucked up that you're not even proud of me? Is that why you won't come visit me? Is that why you won't answer my prayers? Is that why you don't even acknowledge me? Is that why God don't answer me? Is that why God hates me? And I laid there for weeks, for months, having these conversations. Miserable. Miserable. Because I didn't feel loved. My kids told me they loved me, but nobody else did. And one day, God came to me. And he said, Elijah, 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 you're loved. You're adored. It's not that you can't be happy. You're focused on the wrong stuff. Elijah, it's not that you're not loved. You're fixated on the wrong stuff. Your attention is wrong. Your focus is wrong. Elijah, you're focused on what you don't have. You're fixated on what you don't have. You keep talking about what you don't have. And you never learned to really be grateful for what you do have. You never really learned to cherish what you do have. All you're thinking about is what you don't have. All you're focused on is what you don't have. And that's making you more frustrated. That's making you miserable. That's making you lonely. Elijah, what you think about, you bring about. Elijah, you're speaking all this negativity into existence. You're manifesting more loneliness. You're manifesting more frustration, more depression. Because that's what you're thinking about. You're not thinking about you having a woman. You're thinking about the fact that you don't have one. You're thinking about the fact that you're not feeling loved. And so that's what you feel more of. What you think about, you bring about. Learn to shift your focus. Learn to sit there and say, okay, God, I'm grateful for everything that I have. And don't just say it, but feel it. Feel the gratitude, the passion in what you do have. And understand that if you want happiness, if you want a relationship, whatever it is that you want that you don't have, you have to learn to start thinking, okay, man, I'm in preparation. I'm receiving this. I have this. I have this. God, I thank you for preparing me for my woman. I thank you for preparing me for my kids. I thank you for preparing me for my career. I thank you for preparing me for my vehicle. Whatever it is that you want. shift your focus from not having it to receiving it. To receiving it. And watch how your frequency shifts. Watch how your vibration shifts. Learn to take on an atmosphere, an attitude of gratitude. A lot of us want money, a lot of money, but we're not ready for a lot of money. We don't know how to handle a lot of money. We don't even know how to handle the little bit of money we do have. We haven't learned how to budget. We haven't learned delayed gratification. We haven't learned how to make wise investments. And so God's not going to bless you with millions and billions because you never learned these little basic things right here. You want your queen? You want your king? You want happiness? Shift your thinking. Shift your attention. Start being happy. And how do you start being happy? Man, you sit there and you focus on the moment. And what I mean by focus, man, I live in the now. What do I have that I'm happy for? Man, I have to start remembering. Man, I remember when life was so much more complicated as a single parent. I remember as a single parent when I didn't have enough money to eat. All I had was enough to feed my kids. And so I was starving myself so that my kids can eat. I didn't have money so that we could go to McDonald's and Burger King and all these other places and get movies from Blockbuster or go to the movies. I didn't have money to be able to take the kids to the laundromat and wash the clothes at the laundromat. I remember, man, having to wash clothes in the bathtub and hang them throughout the house so that they get air dry. And so I started remembering how far I've come. I started remembering, man, life was a whole lot worse. You know what I mean? It was a whole lot more complicated. I remember when I didn't have a car. I remember when I couldn't even afford gas, and gas was only 99 cents. And so I started remembering, okay, God, I thank you for what I do have. I'm grateful for what I do have. I'm grateful that I was able to buy my own washer and dryer. I'm grateful that, man, I got plenty of food now. I'm grateful, man, I ain't got to wash these clothes in the bathtub no more. I'm grateful that I could take my kids out to eat. I could take my daughter out for Valentine's Day. I could take my daughter out and my son out for their birthdays. I could buy them some toys and different things now. I could give them a little bit of change where they could go in the store and buy whatever they want now. Within means. You know what I mean? I was giving them $5 and that was big money back then. But I was grateful that I had the change to be able to give to them. I'm grateful that my kids never realized how poor I was. I'm grateful my kids always had a smile. I'm grateful that I could take them to Disneyland and Magic Mountain, Knott's Berry Farm, and Six Flags, and all these other places. I'm grateful. God, if you could do this, then I know you could bring me a woman. If you could help me with my finances like this, then I know you could bring me a woman. That's nothing. Okay. God, I understand why you hadn't brought me a woman. I couldn't afford one. I wasn't in a place to handle one. Emotionally, financially. Because I've been doing this work, I'm now getting to a place to where I can have a woman. And I wouldn't crush her or be toxic towards her because of my baggage, because of my trauma and my drama. God, thank you. Thank you for working on me. Thank you for helping me fix me. Thank you for helping me get my shit straight. So now I have a castle that I could bring a woman to. I've always had a house, but it wasn't a castle. I've always had a place to lay my head and call my own, but it was never really home. And so, while you working with me and helping me deal with my bullshit, my atmosphere has changed. My thought process has changed. The environment in my house has changed. Everything around me has changed. Now I have options. Now I have options when it comes to women. And that became another obstacle. Because now I don't know which one to choose. Man, she looked fine as hell. And so I struggled with all of that. That became another problem for me. At first, it was not having touch, not having the intimacy, not having somebody in my life. To now, I have options. And now I have to learn, go through the process of trying to figure out what's the best type of woman for me and my kids. See, at first it was, man, I just want somebody. And so I'm picking somebody pretty, somebody with a badass body. And that made me happy. Until it didn't make me happy anymore. Because they had baggage. They had trauma and drama and issues. They weren't the right type of person for me and my kids. So I'm picking up more problems because I hadn't learned how to be selective. I hadn't learned how to choose, how to use wisdom in selecting the right person for me and my kids. I'm talking about finding happiness. And so I had to learn. I had to be happy with me. First and foremost. I had to be happy in whatever situation, whatever environment I was in. I had to be proud of me. If nobody else was proud of me, I had to be proud of me. And I was proud of me because I saw where I came from. I saw the struggles that I overcame. So if nobody else patted me on my back, I had to learn to pat my own self on my back. I had to learn to love me. I needed and wanted everybody else to love me because I didn't love me. So I'm finding happiness. And then I realized there's a lot of people in relationships that still don't love themselves. And they're really not happy in their relationship. It was fun again. It was fun in the beginning because it was wild. It was new. The sex was off the chart. But after the sex, we had nothing in companion or nothing compatible. After the sex, we didn't have great relationships. We didn't have great communications or conversations. We weren't compatible, other than sexually. And so I had to realize, man, that's not really making me happy. The sex is great, but that's not really making me happy. I had to fall in love with me. I had to like me. And when I begin to like me, when I begin to fall in love with me, I no longer ask God what was wrong with me. I no longer cried to my mama what was going on with me, what was so wrong with me, what was so fucked up about me. See, I only did that because I didn't like me. I only did it because I really didn't love me. And so I thought there was something wrong with me. But once I got to know me, once I got to start liking me, once I got to start loving me, the happiness came. And it didn't come in the form of a woman. It didn't come in the form of money or anything else. I was good. I was good. Because I was good with me. I stopped looking around at other people and comparing my life to their life. I had to understand that, man, everybody didn't start out at the same place that I did. Everybody didn't go through the fucked up childhood that I did. Everybody didn't have the pain and suffering that I did. And so everybody didn't have to focus and work on all of these issues like I did. Everybody wasn't sexually molested as a kid. Everybody didn't see their mama murdered when they were 2 years old, like I did. Everybody didn't grow up spending their childhood going to all the different prisons in California every weekend to visit their father, like I did. Everybody wasn't verbally and emotionally beat down and physically beat down like I was. And so I had to understand, man, I'd gone through so much to tear me down. I'd gone through so much to make me hate myself, to make me not like me. And I had to learn to forgive me for not liking me. I had to learn to love me and be proud of all the things that I've overcome. To be proud of all the things that I've gone through. Because after all, I was still here. After all, I was still raising my kids. After all, I was still trying to do the right thing. After all, I was still giving my best. Whether other people thought it was my best or not, didn't matter. I knew it was my best because I knew me. That's how I learned to find my happiness. It wasn't in money, it wasn't in cars, it wasn't in careers, it wasn't in women, it wasn't in sex. I pursued all of those things, thinking that those things would make me happy. And it was instant gratification, but not happiness. It was instant satisfaction, but not happiness. Happiness came from within. From within. Man, I hope and pray that I've said something to help you, to encourage you. You can find happiness. You're not going to find it in a bottle. You're not going to find it in pills. You're not going to find it in sex. You're not going to find it in relationships. You're not going to find it in money, in your careers. There's a lot of people that had a lot of money. There's a lot of rich and famous people that wasn't happy. There's a lot of rich and famous people that have overdosed. There's a lot of rich and famous people that have committed suicide. So happiness is not in fame. Happiness is not in money. Happiness is not in status. Happiness is not in relationships. Happiness is an internal thing. It's an internal thing. You're not going to go to church and find happiness. You're not going to go to the mosque and find happiness. You have to go within you. You have to go within to find your happiness. Man, we have to grow up. I love you guys. Happy healing.